Puppet, on the contrary, couldn't fathom how a newcomer on the 10th floor possessed such profound knowledge. Our hero appeared to have the mental acumen of at least a 100th floor climber, if not higher. Recognizing Jin Huk as his equal, Puppet knew he had to come up with a more dependable strategy. In that critical moment, he summoned his puppets, an army of controlled dolls surrounding Jin Huk. Puppet explained that in the realm of the mind, experience equated to strength, and these were puppets Puppet had acquired through his experiences. He disclosed that to ascend beyond the 100th floor, he had enhanced these puppets to be as formidable as a 50th floor climber when infused with mana. Brimming with confidence, Puppet asserted that the winner had already been decided the moment Jin Huk entered the mind realm. He then commanded his puppets to assail Jin Huk from all sides, engulfing him. Thinking it was over, Puppet reassured Jin Huk that injuries in the mind realm didn't carry over to the real world. Suddenly, a colossal explosion erupted behind Puppet, and he turned around in a panic, realizing magic was in play. Emerging from the dark smoke was a menacing purple shadow, transforming into a skeletal mage. Puppet identified it as the Lich Mage and panicked, wondering why the 100th floor boss monster was here. Jin Huk countered that it wasn't as simple as Puppet thought. While Puppet was left wondering why his puppets were faltering, in a menacing tone, Jin Huk, now in his past life form, explained that materializing a deceased person in the mind realm took time. He assured Puppet that it wasn't as straightforward as he believed. Jin Huk found Puppet's puppet army laughable compared to his undead forces, a true embodiment of a formidable army. Jin Huk confidently declared that the victor had been decided the moment they entered the mind realm, emphasizing that mere puppets were Puppet's downfall. Bewildered and unable to fathom the arrival of bosses above the 100th floor, Puppet screamed in terror, asking who the ghost face was. Jin Huk unleashed his army upon Puppet, who let out a terrified scream. Abruptly, they were thrust back into reality. Puppet, sweating profusely, found himself disoriented, wondering when they had returned to the real world since he hadn't even disbanded his own mental realm. He couldn't fathom how Jin Huk had taken control of the mind world. With Jin Huk firmly in control of the situation, he looked down at the overwhelmed Puppet and admonished him to stop acting like a crybaby and to stand on his own 2 feet. He reminded Puppet of their bet, which was for Puppet to arrange a meeting between Jin Huk and Gold Lich. Jin Huk then handed Puppet a letter. Puppet inquired if the letter was all there was, to which Jin Huk confirmed and instructed him to send it to Gold Lich. While Puppet had lost, he couldn't guarantee a response to the letter, but Jin Huk exuded confidence that he would indeed receive a reply from Gold Lich. With that, Jin Huk left. Once outside, Puppet assured Jin Huk that he would contact his lodging once he received a response. Jin Huk simply replied with an okay. As Jin Huk was departing, Puppet and Hal Sion bowed, urging Jin Huk to return safely. As the sky began to cast its evening hues, Vulcan suggested they return to their lodging and rest. Jin Huk, however, questioned this and asked if there wasn't somewhere else they needed to go. Vulcan, perplexed, inquired if there was another destination. Jin Huk, sporting a mischievous grin, pointed out the inefficiency of waiting around for Gold Lich's arrival. Since they had time to kill, he emphasized the need to fulfill their responsibilities as guild members. The scene shifts to the White Swallow Guild House. In the lobby, a blonde girl turned to her friend and asked how far she'd climbed in the tower. Her friend replied, 57th floor. The blonde girl couldn't fathom why they were stuck in the 10th floor lobby, questioning who would dare to enter the main door of the Holy Kingdom's affiliated guild. Suddenly, Jin Huk swung the door open, leaving the girls utterly shocked. Swiftly regaining their composure, they maintained their professionalism and warmly welcomed Jin Huk to the White Swallow, inquiring about the purpose of his visit. Jin Huk, employing his acting skills, broke into a broad smile and replied, raiding the tower alone has proven too challenging, so I'd like to join the guild. The girls were relieved to discover that an individual sought to join their guild. Yet they suddenly paused, sharing a common concern: the potential for significant empowerment if they recommended a newcomer to the guild. After careful consideration, they enthusiastically welcomed Jin Huk, inquiring if he had a reefer or received a direct invitation. Jin Huk, still playing his part, feigned ignorance and mentioned that he came due to the guild's substantial affiliation. The two young women exchanged triumphant glances, convinced that Jin Huk was a novice unaware of their guild's intricacies. The blonde girl then requested Jin Huk to demonstrate his abilities. In response, Jin Huk asked them for a coin and effortlessly bent it using his fingers, astonishing the girls. He then claimed proficiency in basic magic and ignited a fire on his hand as if to demonstrate, leaving the two girls bewildered. They were astounded by Jin Huk's array of talents and began whispering to each other, recognizing that his current skills were not the crux of the matter. They believed that by guiding him, Jin Huk had the potential to become a tycoon. The blonde girl, adding a touch of jest, remarked on Jin Huk's good looks, prompting her friend to question if he was truly her type. With a sly grin, Jin Huk thought that he had bought enough time, anticipating something to unfold soon. However, a sudden noise interrupted their conversation, and the girls wondered about its origin. Without delay, a man rushed into the guild house expressing urgent concern about a rampaging spirit monster wreaking havoc in the village. He urged everyone who had reached the 50th floor to assemble immediately. Amidst this critical moment, the two girls requested Jin Huk to wait in the guild as they resolved this emergency. As they exited and shut the door behind them, Jin Huk donned his mask once more, declaring that it was time to revert to his menacing alter ego, Ghostface, standing there with his new drip. Back outside, chaos reigned as people fled for their lives. Climbers attempted to confront the supposed crazy spirit, only to discover that their attacks were utterly ineffectual. Unbeknownst to them, this so-called crazy spirit was, in fact, Vulcan, consumed by resentment over the mockery of his awkward appearance. Blushing with shame, Vulcan inwardly cursed Jin Huk for subjecting the first spirit master to such humiliation, vowing never to forgive him. Meanwhile, Jin Huk was engaged in physical altercations with individuals seemingly searching for something. Another person emerged from a nearby room, bewildered by the commotion, and inquired about the situation. Jin Huk's response was swift as he grasped the man by the neck, hoisting him into the air. He noticed a plethora of books inside the room the man had come from and demanded information. Jin Huk explained that given their guild's affiliation with the Holy Kingdom, he required a list of other guilds and their precise locations. The gasping man questioned Jin Huk's wisdom in making enemies of 2 members of the 9 Star. Jin Huk expressed gratitude for the man's concern, but warned that now was not the time to worry about others. Terrified, the man reluctantly pointed toward a desk inside the room he'd exited. Jin Huk thanked him for not wasting his time, releasing his grip. As Jin Huk perused the papers on the table, he discovered information about the Pellin siblings, realizing that the individuals before him were their pawns. He silently vowed to bring them all under his control, burning the papers as a symbolic gesture of his intent to dismantle them slowly. The scene shifted to Gold Lich, who was reviewing reports when an envelope slipped from the stack, catching his attention. Intrigued, he opened the letter, wondering why Puppet had sent a separate message alongside the reports. As he read the contents, a moment of eerie silence enveloped him, followed by a nervous, sweat-inducing realization. Gold Lich exclaimed, "Ghostface, how in the world do you know about this?" Due to Jin Huk's involvement in igniting the building, a massive fire suspected to be an act of arson engulfed the village. Unfortunately, all witnesses on the scene perished. Beck Halo, the guildmaster of the White Swallow, expressed suspicion about a prospective recruit. Beck inquired about the individual's appearance and attire from 2 young women. Strikingly, their descriptions of Jin Huk differed. The blonde girl depicted him as a handsome man with a prominent nose bridge, while her friend described him as unattractive with a short, stubby nose. They exchanged shocked glances, realizing Jin Huk might have employed hallucination magic. The narrative shifts to Jin Huk in a room where Vulcan emerged from a portal, and Jin Huk praised his performance with an arrogant grin. Jin Huk mentioned rumors about a fearsome ghost. Vulcan, frustrated, questioned if he was mocking him. He also inquired if Jin Huk had completed his mission without detection. Jin Huk confidently admitted to using effective hallucination magic, causing everyone to remember him differently. When Vulcan asked about the gathered information on other guilds, Jin Huk stated that having it in his mind sufficed. Suddenly, a knock at the door interrupted them. Vulcan asked if Jin Huk had requested room service, but Jin Huk denied it. He donned his mask and devised a plan. He'd open the door on the count of 3, and Vulcan would apprehend the visitor. Jin Huk counted 1, 2, 3, and Vulcan swiftly summoned chains to capture the knocker, revealing it was Hal Xiang. He informed Jin Huk that Puppet had sent him to convey that the Gold Lich had arrived at the 10th floor branch. Upon reaching the 10th floor, they encountered numerous knights. Jin Huk inquired about the Gold Lich's whereabouts, and the Gold Lich himself acknowledged Jin Huk's audacity and commended his courage for showing up. With a menacing demeanor, the Gold Lich warned Jin Huk of a steep price to pay, declaring that individuals who possessed knowledge of certain matters couldn't exist within the tower. As the Gold Lich departed, he ordered the knights to escort Jin Huk, barely clinging to life, to his room. Jin Huk's demeanor turned menacing as he challenged the knight leader, asking if he desired a fight. In response, the knight leader ordered his comrades to prepare for battle, but before they could react, Jin Huk delivered a powerful punch to the leader while chastising him for foolishly revealing their strategy. The other knights watched in shock as their captain was defeated. Without hesitation, Jin Huk swiftly incapacitated all the standing knights and then advanced towards the Gold Lich, wielding the knight's equipment. The Gold Lich, in a dramatic turn, caused the gold coins around him to levitate, almost resembling liquid. The coins transformed into projectiles and barraged Jin Huk relentlessly. Internally, Jin Huk recognized this power as golden power, where the Gold Lich converted gold into mana for his attacks. Jin Huk skillfully deflected the onslaught of coins and questioned if that was all the Gold Lich had to offer. However, the Gold Lich wasn't finished. He morphed the gold into sharp-pointed blades, warning Jin Huk that the majority majority of the gold in the branch could unleash a devastating wave. Even if it's the so-called ghost face, he will be critically injured. Just as an explosion occurred around Jin Huk, seemingly ending the confrontation, Jin Huk surprised the Gold Lich by revealing he wasn't defeated. He held a spear to the Gold Lich's neck, claiming victory in their verbal battle. Pushing away the spear, the Gold Lich arrogantly remarked that he could easily eliminate someone like Jin Huk if he wished. To the Gold Lich's shock, Jin Huk countered, stating that he couldn't be killed. Jin Huk emphasized that the Gold Lich hadn't inquired about his information source, and that they intended to capture him alive. Jin Huk offered to reveal his source, leading the Gold Lich to request his presence in a grand room. Jin Huk marveled at the opulence of the room, acknowledging the power of money. The Gold Lich then activated his power, creating sharp blades that sealed them off from the outside world. He demanded to know the person who had informed Jin Huk about his ownership of the auction.